listening to Fighting Game Follies.
It's the #1 podcast for low-level player opinions.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Round 1.
Hello to all of my mashers, grapplers, and set play psychopaths, to the Wi-Fi warriors and the O-tours. It is your host, Griefer Games, back with another episode of Fighting Game Follies. We're here at the third episode of Fighting Game Follies, if you haven't already been able to tell by the episode title and everything. And today we're going to be talking about something that's like relatively like close to heart and close to me, because we are going to be talking about the importance of Evo Moment 37 and just go ahead and like deconstruct and delve into like what that whole moment meant for not only just fighting games but the entire video game community as a whole. Because despite how much people like tend to like knock it, it is very much an important moment in just like gaming history in general. Sometimes being like akin and likened to Babe Ruth's call out or his home run call out, but we'll talk about that a tiny bit later on. I just really quickly wanted to say once again, thank you so much for sticking around listening to the third episode. It really means a lot to me. It really shows that you are enjoying the podcast and like really, you know, once again, just really liking my voice and liking how I'm sounding and everything. So yeah, I really do appreciate that. I really do. Thank you so much. Yeah, with all that out the way, like with introductions and everything, I guess we should actually get into the first part of this three-parter and like talk about the you know, the legacy and importance of Evo Moment 37 and why I enjoy it all so much. So I'm going to give a tiny bit more of some history background for myself so I can put into context how much this moment really means to me. So Third Strike, like I said in the first episode, is the game that initially got me into fighting games. And obviously, you know, Third Strike is where the game that this moment takes place in. So that's already a big factor. And on top of that, I'm also just a really big person when it comes to fighting game history. I'm not a history person per se, but I do like going in and looking at the history of things that I really do enjoy, and I like deconstructing it and like just looking at a time period where maybe I wasn't here to really experience it, but look at the firsthand accounts of other people that were there to experience it and just overall see like how it was for them, how like what they thought, things of that sort basically. So yeah, I guess you can call me a history guru like for fighting games, but I'm not really a history person. I just like looking into the stuff and how everything is done. So yeah, I'm a big Third Strike player. It's probably one of my favorite Street Fighter games to date. I say to date because when Street Fighter 6 comes out, that might be, I don't know. But that's my third Street Fighter game, my favorite Street Fighter game to date, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. And obviously that's where this game takes place. That's where the moment takes place and everything. It also takes place at the biggest event of all time, biggest fighting game event of all time, being the Evolution Championship, otherwise known as Evo. Takes place in Evo 2004, and this has some very well-known players that are they are veterans in the scene, if like probably some of the most well-known veterans in the scene, and that is Daigo Umehara and Justin Wong. These guys already like they deserve episodes of their own because of how big and important their contributions to the fighting game community is, especially Daigo. Like this dude when I say Daigo has history, this man has history. Also known as like just Daigo, quick little rundown, you know, Mr. Umehara, also known as the Beast. He is like, when I say the king, or I guess I should say used to be the king because he doesn't really compete that much anymore, but he used to be the king of Street Fighter and was back when Street Fighter 2 initially came out in his heyday, like when he was still a teenager. He was the leading champion and played off against America's best player, Alex Valle, who's another like big time legacy player. They fought off. That they sort of like set the precedent for what would be like Japan and America's big rivalry when it came into Street Fighter. Obviously Japan won because they have just a way bigger perpetuated culture when it comes to video games, so we didn't really have a chance all too much, but still it was fun. It was good. So yeah, not Justin. Daigo, big person. This guy is insane. He primarily plays Ryu in most Street Fighter games. In Street Fighter 5, he did actually swap over because Ryu was not really to his liking for this point in time. But in Street Fighter 5, he switched over to play every Ryu player's natural enemy, especially back in the day in Street Fighter 2. He started to play Guile, a charge input character, and that was kind of weird looking at it. Looking at the clips, obviously he's like gotten adjusted to the character and like he plays him very well, but just seeing Daigo playing someone that isn't Ryu is very weird, especially since Ryu as a character, like Daigo is very synonymous when it comes to Ryu, like in the entire Street Fighter series, to the point where some commentators have even accidentally called him Ryu. And there's a big statue of him with like him and Evil Ryu back in Street Fighter 4 and regular Ryu. Like, just Daigo and Ryu go together. They are like two sides, same coin, pretty much. So just seeing him like play someone that isn't Ryu was kind of like weird, and it shook up a lot of things. But oh well, that was some time ago. And now, since we've since we've spoken upon, Umehara, I guess we also have to speak about America's champ, because, man, Daigo and Justin have a big, like, rivalry already, like, with each other, because, like, on a bunch of different things. So, first off, to give some history, because I love history. I'm a history guru, but only for when things I really do enjoy. To give some history, Justin Wong, otherwise known as Jay Wong, he predominantly plays games like Marvel vs. Capcom and things of that sort, also Street Fighter, like things like that. And his style is very different because he plays like a very slow, methodical approach to all of his games, and will actively try and tilt and get his opponent to start making mistakes for him. That way he can capitalize, which is very smart, incredibly smart. But obviously that sort of put a big red target on his back, especially in the early days, because his play style was sort of seen as playing lame, which makes sense. Like, he's not necessarily doing things like playing zoners or anything, or like specifically camping you out, but it's basically like camping you out, making sure that he does not get hit, you get hit, and you're just basically running into his punches and his kicks, and like tilting you. That way you make more mistakes, he capitalizes on those mistakes, and then it's just a perpetuating cycle, which that sort of leans a lot more into the psychology of fighting games and just overall like human nature in general, which is another thing that deserves its own episode, because that's a big topic. But Justin's whole goal is to play what's called turtle style, which is he's playing keep away. He plays keep away. He chips you down, whittles you down, and everything, like makes you mad, and that's how he wins his games. So that's pretty much all you need to know for the two characters right now. Set the stage. Let me actually really quickly set the stage and prep myself for what I'm about to say next. So this particular moment, Evo Moment 37, which, quick little fun fact, this isn't even the 37th moment in Evo, like a big Evo moment or anything. It's just named Evo Moment 37 because so many wondrous things like this happen that, like, this is, like, probably one of the few documented things that, like, should be in this Hall of Fame for Evo. Like, it doesn't mean that there are specifically 37 things that have already come before and there's anything more that's come like behind it. It just means that like this is something that was documented. It is like just a drop in the big pool of why fighting, like insane fighting game achievements and everything. So yeah, Evo Moment 37 doesn't really have any like real ties to the number or anything. It's not like a big number, but I just wanted to give that little bit of context. So, Evolution Championship 2004, Justin Wong versus Daigo Umehara, losers, like grand final, or not losers grand finals, losers semifinals, if I'm not mistaken. whoever wins this goes to fight the grand finalist, who I think was KO Kenji Obata, if I'm not mistaken. Which is kind of this sort of, me not remembering this name sort of blows, but it also puts into perspective like how not unknown, but just how like impactful this moment was, that like not even the like final set of the game like was even recorded or even cared about because of what happened. But not grand finals, losers finals 2004, Justin Wong versus Daigo Umehara. Daigo is currently playing Ken Masters, who is another character that he plays. Basically, Daigo just plays Shotos. Primarily he plays Ryu, but from time to time, you know, as I said when I was talking about Street Fighter V, he played Guile, who Guile is a charger zoner, I guess you would like call it. And then Ken is also another Shoto character. Or I'm realizing I said Shoto zoner, but Guile, you know, Shoto charge character. Ken, another rushdown Shoto character. That's who he played in Third Strike. And yeah, and Wong is playing Chun-Li, who is known to be the best character in Third Strike to date because of all of the amazing options that she has and everything that she's able to do. And playing Chun-Li was essentially like, it was Chun-Li, Yun, and I'm trying to think who else really had the dog in them in SF3. I'm trying to think, because it's really only those two that like really dominated. Like they're in a completely different tier of them they're on. But all you need to know, grand finals, or I keep saying grand finals because it, like, the amount of energy that was in this set, like it makes it feel like it was grand finals. But losers finals, Wong versus Umehara. Umehara is playing Ken Masters, and Justin Wong is playing Chun-Li, and it just, from here on point, history is just made.
Round 2.
All right, so I've been dancing around the actual moment itself, but I think it's about time that we actually like get into it and start talking about this. And this is gonna be kind of hard to describe audibly, because like the amount of just like sheer raw energy that like emanates from this clip, like itself, it is very hard to describe. It is like crazy hard. But I'm gonna try my best to try and like describe this to your ears. That way you don't have to go out and watch it. I strongly recommend that you go and watch this like right afterwards, or like I'll even give you a second to pause this podcast if you're not doing anything like too strenuous, like homework or anything, or driving. Pause this podcast, go look up Evo Moment 37 on YouTube, click the first video that shows up, and watch that. And I feel like that it explains everything that I'm trying to say. But anyways, I'm just gonna like get on into it. So, the moment itself. What does this guy Daigo do? Why is he so important? Why is he so famous? So, the best way that I can describe this is just everything being stacked against him to lose, and then he somehow, from the clutches of defeat and like the skin on his teeth, pulls out a win in the most like unprecedented and just like unforeseen way known to man. So to give you some context, right? Justin, he's been chipping him out. Justin has been chipping Daigo out for the entirety of the game. They both have like one round, and they're on the last, or they both have one game and they're on the last round. Whoever wins this game, like they go to grand finals to go fight the winner, right? Justin has a way more significant health lead, like a health bar lead, than Daigo, and Daigo is literally on a pixel of health. It is almost unseen. You can't like it's so small to the point that it cannot be seen. It is literally almost invisible. And with Justin being the guy that he is, he's like, okay, cool. I don't really have to do anything. If I really want to, I can time him out, which is basically just letting the timer that they have for I forget how much time is usually set. I think it's not 60 seconds, but or it probably is. But basically, he's like, okay, so for the time that I have now, because the timer is almost up, I can just wait this entire game out. I'm going to win no matter what, because he will not have, like, he will have to win way more interactions with me in order to, like, get my health to the point that it is at now. And just the odds are stacked up against Daigo. So this man is like the one time, like, his downfall. He's like, you know what? No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna be ballsy. I'm gonna do a super, right? And a super is basically just a big move. Sometimes it does like damage even if you block it, which Daigo would not have survived even if he did block it. So Justin's like, okay, I'm gonna do a super. I'm gonna do Chun-Li's 15 hit super. There's no way that he's going to be able to survive this no matter what. He can't jump over it because, like, the jumping over it isn't an option. Blocking it is not an option. Obviously, getting hit is not an option. And he's at the corner of the screen, so he can't move back to try and avoid it. And, like, he has no options, like, left except for one. And this one option is probably the scariest thing, like, Daigo could have done, but it was the only way that he was going to make it out of this situation alive. And here's what Daigo does. In Street Fighter 3, there is a mechanic called parrying, and this is in every Street Fighter game. Some characters have it, other characters don't, but main thing to know, in Street Fighter 3, it is a universal mechanic that all characters have access to. And how you do a parry is you have to tap forward on the stick or pad or whatever you use to play. You have to tap forward on the stick in like 1/60th of a second from when you are about to get hit. So basically you have to tap forward at the exact time that you are about to get hit, which is very, very frightening. And so Daigo, with no other option, no other way that he's going to get out of this, he sees Justin do the super, and he's like, you know what? Go ahead. I can take this. Let's go. And I bet you can't guess what this guy does. He parries all 15 precise hits of Chun-Li's super. And to put that into perspective, that is like hitting an invisible note on a guitar, like an exact note on a guitar 15 times flawlessly with no mistakes whatsoever. And to top it all off, he not only parries the super, but he also puts himself in an advantageous position by jumping, parrying the last hit of the super, because the last hit's like an upward kick to send them like launching. He jumps, parries the last hit of the super, puts himself in an advantageous position, and combos off of that parry, because parrying gives you more frame advantage. And basically, I'm gonna get into an episode where I talk a lot. Man, there are a lot of episodes where I need to get into other stuff. I'll get into another episode where I go like deeper into things like frame data and whatnot, because that's a more advanced topic. But just know that you want to be in advantage. Most of the time you want to, no, not even most, all of the time you want to be in advantage state when it comes to frame advantage, and parrying puts you in advantage state. It puts you in a very good advantage state. So he jumps, parries the like last kick of the super, puts himself in advantage. He gets a combo off of the parry, and then somehow like he squeaks out well, he doesn't squeak out enough damage, but he deals enough damage to take the round and like win the set. Like he wins the entire thing. That's it. The game's over with him and Justin. Like he goes to grand finals. And for me, saying this is probably like, oh, okay, cool, he just did the thing, it's not that hard. But when I say this is probably the hardest, not the hardest thing that was done, but like one of the most like eloquent showings of like just skill in this game format, is it's like I can't even begin to describe it. because there are so many factors that is just riding on Daigo like losing. There are so many things that are stacked against this man that is like trying to pull him down, because he has the crowd behind him. He has Justin Super, and whilst all of this is going on, Justin like in real life is also mashing on his stick and everything, trying to like mess up Daigo's timing in order to like, you know, get him to fumble and like get hit and take damage, and that way, you know, Justin wins. And he just has so many things stacked against him. Tournament pressure, like just nerves of the entire game, like all previous life stuff and everything going on. And this man snatches victory from the jaws of defeat in the most like just beautiful and like just superb way possible. I can't even describe like how insane it is watching this, because it is literally pulling something from nothing. That is how that's just how insane watching this clip is. And it makes sense, because this clip had like Evo Moment 37 has over 30 million views on YouTube. And like it's been talked about so many times. It has so many like views on YouTube and everything. It is just insane how huge of a like clip this is, and just how impactful this was, because of a number of like different things, which I'm going to talk about in a bit later, just how impactful Evo Moment 37 is really to the fighting game community. But please, I'm begging you, go, because I'm not doing this justice. I'm like, this whole episode has not been doing it justice, which kind of blows. But I'm begging you, go out, like search it up on YouTube and go watch Evo Moment 37, because this clip, like if you want to get into fighting games, this is required homework. Like this is one of the like few things of like required like history and homework that you need in order to like truly understand like why like people love, like just why fighting games are a thing and why they're so much fun. So go out, go watch this clip. I'll give you some time to go watch it now. Give me some time to prep about why I want to talk about just how impactful and the whole legacy and impact of this thing. But go watch this. Go watch Evo Moment 37 like now.
Round 3.
All right, so now that we're done trying to watch or listen to me horribly explain that moment in audio format, we get to actually talk about its legacy and impact and why this thing is so important. Because also, this clip is extremely important to not only fighting games, but just video games in general, as this is something that has been called akin to Babe Ruth's call-out, like I said earlier. And just overall, this clip like sort of saved the fighting game series, or not series, the fighting game subgenre of video games as a whole. As during the time back in 2004, to give some more history, back in 2004, the arcade era was sort of dying out, and it didn't really have a foothold in the market anymore, because obviously with the home market and everything coming out, why would you want to go outside to play video games so you can do it in the comfort of your own home, which makes sense. So because of this, fighting games couldn't really adapt, because they had a majority of their technology on the arcades, because they were way more powerful to run, and it just took longer to get home console versions of everyone's favorite games to come out. It just took longer. So the arcades were sort of dying out, and there wasn't really a home market for fighting games to come out yet. So this sort of reinvigorated people to, like, the Evo Moment 37 sort of just reinvigorated people to want to go out and go play fighting games, because they see this guy do this cool thing. They're like, yo, I want to do this cool thing. I'm going to go and, like, play the game in order to do this cool thing. Tell your friends, yo, I'm learning how to do X, Y, and Z. You guys want to do it with me? Yeah, boom, you guys play it. You guys are having fun. You stick with it, and then it just keeps the life cycle and like bloodstream going, because you get new people introduced to it. Those new people then those new people eventually do new cool things that you didn't think were possible. They not reinvent the wheel, but they go and show everyone something new, and then it just restarts the cycle over again. Like, the best way that I like to describe it is the ones who are inspired by the old like soon inspire the new. and then the ones who are inspired by the new inspire the newer. It's just a big cycle of people wanting to do a thing, seeing how cool that thing is. They do it, and then they tell their friends that they can do it. Those friends are like, oh, I want to do that cool thing, and then boom, it just keeps going and going. So yeah, but I'm sort of like displaying the numbers that like this clip actually like brings out, because when I say this is like the most talked about fighting game clip like on the planet, this is the most talked about fighting game clip on the planet, and for a good reason. This thing is literally, it's insane how it's just insane, like seeing Daigo and Justin, like just seeing that you had to be there, you literally had to be there, like 2004 Evolution. It was insane watching that in person, hearing like the entire crowd erupt as like Justin gets parried, and then like the gameplay afterwards that follows is also just wild, because you can like he was playing so confidently, and then like you can just see it in the last like game that they play, that Justin was just like out of it. He was awestruck by what happened. He literally like, bro, I don't want to say this, but like bro was legitimately flabbergasted. He did not know how to respond. He didn't find a way to clap back, and ultimately that's what lost him the game and like cemented him in third place. And the thing that I also find kind of funny is Daigo didn't even win Evo 2004. It was won by like some dude that I was talking about earlier, Kenji Obata, named KO. And this is so funny to me because I tried to look up information on KO, and I only saw like 2 tournament listings, one being Evo 2004. Like I couldn't even find a picture of this guy. So Daigo essentially, like, he just lost to some guy. Like, he cemented himself in history. Like, that was gonna be a hard feat for him because he's literally the beast. But he cements like probably the like greatest fighting game clip in history known to man, loses to someone that like doesn't even have any pictures or anything up, or like they've just been lost to time, and then it's like, oh well. Anyway, that loser's final set was kind of wild, huh? And that's it. This dude just gets like washed over by time, which kind of sucks. Like, there's no recording of the fight whatsoever. There's no like thing. All it's known is that he played young, and that's it. I don't even know what the score was, but it's just kind of crazy. So yeah, this thing, Evo Moment 37, sort of like saved fighting games, which I'm very much glad that it did, because I don't know if you can tell in the inflections in my voice and everything, but I really do like fighting games. I like fighting games. I like Daigo. I like Street Fighter 3, and I really do enjoy fighting games. I find this medium to be so much fun. It's like something great. It's helped me out with a lot of things, and it's also taught me life skills as well, like not hand-eye coordination, because that's what everyone like wants to say when talking about like video games and being actually good for you. But it's taught me how to be adaptable. It's taught me how to overcome my struggles. It's taught me how to like actually manage time in order to do things. Like, fighting games can do a lot, and this just goes for video games in general, but video games do a lot. They help you meet new people. They help you work on life skills. They're just overall a good and fun experience. Is every like video game for everyone? Obviously not. Are fighting games for everyone? Oh my god, no. No. It is extremely hard to get someone into a fighting game, because all it takes is like like art style. Not it, boom, I'm not playing it. Characters, none appeal to me, boom, I'm not playing it. Like, fighting games are both the greatest thing that have ever graced us as gamers, but also the hardest thing on the planet, because it's kind of hard to get into fighting games, but once you take the time to actually sit down, play them, get into it, it is such a rewarding like thing, and being able to grow with other people and learn and play video games with them, it's just fun. So yeah, next time a fighting game goes on sale and you're interested in it, buy it, because somebody else is probably also going to buy it and also playing it as well. Buy games when they come out, because you get to learn with the rest of the community and like discover things alongside them. It's just a good experience. Buy fighting games. Play fighting games. Go out, play some Street Fighter, play some Guilty Gear, play some King of Fighters, do something. I don't know. Just go play a fighting game, man. It really is changing. It's life changing. But yeah, that's really about it for. No, that's not it. I'm so. Oh my dog. No, I'm lying. That's not it. We're back in it. Round 3.5. Because I completely missed this. This is in my notes. I totally forgot how. Okay. Um. I'm gonna talk about this really quickly and then I'll like do my dues and everything. But I totally forgot. This clip is so big that it gets referenced in almost every fighting game known to man. So to give an example, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. That was the game that I said I started playing Street Fighter on. That's how I got my introduction to fighting games, right? I played the online edition. The online edition has a challenge mode where the Daigo parry is one of the challenges. All right, boom, that's one. Two, in Smash's Ken trailer, Ken has like he parries a move and then it like super flash and everything happens like right before he's about to actually do a super, calling back to that. Boom, another one. In Street Fighter 6's trailer for Ken, the same thing happens. The like because he has the same super that he does in Street Fighter 3, and it has that same super flash like before he actually does the kick. Boom, that's three. Hugh Neutron from Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. Hugh Neutron, Jimmy Neutron's father. He has a Chung-Li like 15 hit like taunt kick or something. I don't even know. Like it was just snuck in by the developers. He has like a 15 hit taunt or something that he's able to do that mimics Chung-Li's super. And I bet you can't guess what happens. That's right. You're able to parry it. Boom, that's four. This clip is like it's literally synonymous with fighting games to this point, and it's going to keep growing as more like ultimately the reason why I'm making this episode is that so people can learn like I can't even speak, appreciate history, appreciate the culture, and just appreciate like those who came before you and set like the precedent for what is like cool or just what is the ones who raise the bar are ultimately like inspiring like those of next time to like raise that bar even higher. Like dude, go play fighting games, go play fighting games, become a like fighting game developer, and then like do stuff like this, do cool like make references to things of the past, because dude like it's just peak inspires peak. I'm speaking so informally now, but like there's just so many things that like inspire others, and it's just such a nice cycle. Oh my goodness. There's also a book. I forgot to mention that. Daigo also wrote like two books actually. One book on the actual thing, the moment itself, and then another book that's just him talking about like his whole journey throughout fighting games and like being a competitor, wanting to win and everything. I think the book is called The Will to Keep. Actually, yeah, because I have it on my desk right here. The Will to Keep Winning. Buy that book. It's a really good book. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it like Kindle. It's not sponsored, but buy the books. Read, engage in fighting game literature, engage in fighting game content, and just engage with other people who are interested in it as well. I know it's very like daunting to want to try and like stake your foot in there, but like please, we are good people. A majority of us are good people. Let me not speak for everyone. A majority of us are good people and are more than willing to try and get newer people into the things that we enjoy. It might take a while because it'll seem like alien, but please, like, stick around, like, learn, enjoy, and like play and get better and get good. But now that's actually the end. That's the end of the episode. I'm sorry, I did not mean to go on like that small little like miniature tangent where I like forgot things that I'm like staring at right here on my notes. But yeah, that's all for today's episode. Thank you so much for sticking with me for episode 3 of Fighting Game Follies. Next week, I actually do know what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about the Gods of Fighting Games Arc System Works, which, let me tell you, I also have some really good opinions on Arc Sys as well, but that'll actually be in the next episode. So yeah, be sure to stick around, look out for that one. I'll be tweeting it on my Twitter, Instagram, and my socials, which are all linked in the description below. I also have links to Evo Moment 37 as well, and I'm probably not going to, but if you just do a tiny bit of like scourging around and like just like looking, you can find so many different POV shots of like the actual clip itself. Like there's the standard one that everyone knows. There's another alternate clip. There's like two alternate clips. There is a close up, or not close up, but there's like a relatively like full body shot clip of both Daigo and Justin. Like no gameplay. It's only like their I'm trying to think, like their player cams and like somebody looking at them actually play the game, which like it sort of shows when Justin was, like smashing on a stick and everything, trying to disrupt Daigo. But scout around, there's so many different POVs that you can see for Evo Moment 37 as well, and more like info and everything is being dug up to this day, because those alternate clips were like they were found not too long ago, which is kind of wild. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, or not watching. Well, thank you so much for listening. I'm glad that I could stick around and make your day by listening to me ramble on about fighting games once more. This has been Griffer Games, games.png. I really need to settle on what I'm going to like actually name myself. If you want to make the decision for me, what should I name myself? Like say it in like the comments down there, and just like once again ask me any other questions or any other things that you want me to talk about in fighting games, and I'll like address those in whatever episode I can. Honestly, I might just have, like, if enough people want it, I might just like screw whatever I'm doing for like whatever next episode, and then just make like a completely based like Q&A episode and ask a bunch of questions. But yeah, this is your boy Griffer Games, games.png, whatever. Thank you so much for listening. Again, I really do appreciate it. Be sure to follow the playlist and everything. See all of the other episodes as well, cross-referencing this stuff. And I will see you all next time. Peace. Take care. Have a good one. Play some fighting games.